If you played S.T.A.L.K.E.R Shadow of Chernobyl, then you know that life in the zone isn't easy. Mostly because of game-breaking bugs. With S.T.A.L.K.E.R Sky, players are once again encouraged to venture into some pretty dangerous territory in this first-person survival game for the PC.
We call ourselves Clear Sky, and you are in our base right now.
S.T.A.L.K.E.R Sky is a prequel to Shadow of Chernobyl, so you don't really need to have played the first game to understand what's going on here. For the uninitiated, in the S.T.A.L.K.E.R universe, the nuclear meltdown in Chernobyl caused more than just radiation to leak out. Mutated beasts and people, dangerous anomalies, and precious artifacts now litter the landscape. Several different factions jockey for control of the zone, and between them and the zone itself, well, it's just not a happy place. Clear Sky takes place just prior to the events in Shadow of Chernobyl. The zone itself has grown increasingly hostile due to someone's unwelcome meddling, and the delicate balance between the factions has dissolved. In the opening cutscene, the lead character miraculously survives the worst the zone has to offer, and is tasked with journeying to the zone's center and figuring out how to restore some semblance of order. Post-apocalyptic stories are nothing new, and Clear Sky does little to set itself apart.
What's up, Stalker?
If you played Shadow of Chernobyl, you might remember that many features promised for the game never quite made it into the final release. Most of these are now up and running in Clear Sky. The biggest of these is the new faction war system. Each faction in the game will attempt to take over and control key points in the game world. This all goes on independent of what you do. You can choose to join up with any of the factions, providing they like you well enough not to shoot you on sight, and work with them. Or you can go it alone and hope for the best. The other major change is in where valuable and ultra-powerful items called artifacts are located. They're no longer scattered on the ground in plain view. They now remain invisible until you discover them with the help of a location device. Hunting down artifacts now takes much more luck and skill. Plus, it's extremely dangerous work. If you get in over your head, and you will, it's off to the reload screen for you. Good weapons, armor, and supplies are also much harder to come by. It took far too long to receive functional armaments in the first game, and it's even worse here. Technicians can trick out weapons and armor, making them much more efficient in battle, but the rewards rarely justify the work. All of these changes make Clear Sky more realistic, yet much, much more difficult. For a series that was already pegged as far too unforgiving, this is not a good thing. The scarcity of resources in Clear Sky, even on the easier difficulty levels, can be punishing. S.T.A.L.K.E.R is made even more difficult by its ambiguous structure. It attempts to portray an open world that reacts independent of the player's action. It also wants to make scrounging around for resources and figuring out how and why things work a major part of the game. The trouble is, even after the last series of patches, Clear Sky is full of bugs, technical glitches, scripting errors, and tremendous balance issues. And you can never quite tell whether you're messing up because of a bug or because that's the way it's supposed to happen in the game. One minute, you'll be presented with an on-the-fly mission to recapture a control point for your faction, only to have the mission completed mere moments later by the computer AI before you could make it to the battle. At other times, the scripting and level design completely hamstring you into trying to figure out just what the game expects you to do. Because there are so many bugs, it's hard to tell when you're on the right track.
Our next objective is their main base.
We have nothing to worry about. According to our research, the next emission will not occur for at least 2 months, 4 days, and 7 hours.
Despite all the frustrations, there's something very compelling about S.T.A.L.K.E.R. It's not so much the storyline as it is the setting and ambiance, and Clear Sky has this in spades. The graphics engine has been overhauled to take advantage of the latest graphics cards, and many of the textures and animations have been touched up considerably. Yes, the game still has wonky characters and dialogue on occasion, but the zone feels very much like a real place. You'll travel to areas you encountered in Shadow of Chernobyl and be able to immediately get your bearings. Such a strong sense of place is hard to achieve in games, and in this way, Clear Sky excels. It's a shame the issues that plagued Shadow of Chernobyl are still largely present in Clear Sky, because the premise is great and the design is far more interesting and ambitious than your average shooter. But ultimately, the bugs, technical issues, and brutal difficulty are tough to stomach. If you're looking for a challenge, then this is your game, but the average player will tire of its shortcomings long before things even get started.
I must say, I have never seen anything like this before. but the other indicators couldn't be better. It's astounding.